Hello and welcome to Spark Joy Astrology. I hope you're having a beautiful weekend. My name is Joy and I am so honored to be here with you on the eve of a Venus star point. Tomorrow on Sunday, August 13th, 2023, our Sun and Venus, who is going retrograde in Leo, come together at 20 degrees. It is a moment where Venus in her cycle creates one of the anchor points of the pinnacles within her movements. She creates a perfect star in the sky as she moves, friends. And this star over time softens into petal shapes. So she actually creates a 5-petaled flower in the cosmos. And this opening, this feminine energy of a flower opening is certainly happening now, friends. I don't know if you're paying attention to things like the Barbie movie, this revelation around toxic patriarchy, hello words, and moving into a more aware state for humanity, that it needs to be a balance of feminine and masculine. And what this balance is really leading us into is a sacred divine union. And even if you are not in a relationship, friends, you are with yourself. And there is always this intimate play of yin and yang happening in our own energetics. And when we can tune into the sacredness of our own balancing of yin and yang, we create that divine union within. But if you are in a union with a partner, this is a chance to up level, friends, to step into a whole new paradigm where the yin and the yang are standing side by side rather than the yin standing behind. I have been getting downloads, working on my own stuff, clients, all kinds of messages around the fact that the feminine is releasing old patterns of being people pleasers, of not standing in our own truth and speaking our own truth, but instead trying to make everything okay. But let's face it, friends, everything is not okay. And that's the first step, is seeing the truth in that. And now we can move forward. And that's what this next chapter is all about. This 8-year cycle that begins tomorrow is potent, friends. It is being led by such grace, though. Something that I have learned because my Venus in Leo is traversing my 12th house right now. So this is where I have been able to get into past lives for myself, into deep Gnostic knowing. And I know, friends, with all of my heart, with every cell of my being, that I have been reincarnating over and over and over again with the lineage of the star as part of my mission. Venus, the lineage of sacred femininity. And it is time now for us to step into our highest version of ourselves, to allow this transition of toxic patriarchy to shift into a more balanced state. We have learned as the feminine to not repeat the pattern of pulling the pendulum over too far into matriarchy. Instead, this is a time where we are working to balance, again, the sacred union, this incredible experiment that has been offered up to the planet. I'm going to divulge a little bit into my own personal story because it has so much to do with the podcast that I just listened to that I'm going to put in the description box so that you can also listen to it. The reason why I ask you to listen to it is it speaks so beautifully to all of what I just spoke to in the union of two people who I admire. Aubrey Marcus and Vailana Marcus. They are incredible people who are making change happen on this planet, and I've been following their journey for a while. They are interviewed by Layla Martin, and they speak to their divine union and all that has gone into getting to this point in their particular beautiful relationship. And what is so neat about them is they came into union just after me and my partner did. My partner, his name is Mark. He is a therapist, he's a healer, he's a sex therapist. He is an incredible man. And I called him in after going through a rather tumultuous ending in my last partnership. I had found an incredible musician by the name of Rob Ricardo in August. Well, it wasn't August of 2015, but that is when I found him earlier on. I think it was April. But he had this level of love with his wife that I could feel in the ethers, in the interweb ethers. And it was the first time I had really felt that high vibration of a union. And I knew that that's what I wanted. I was not in that in my last partnership. It was pretty amazing, I'm not gonna lie. But I was 15 when I started dating him, and we had grown into very different people. Love him very much. He is still one of my most dearest friends. But we were different, and I needed a spiritual partner. I needed a divine union, someone who was willing to do the work on himself so that we could really potentially save the world. That's what I felt in my heart. And so I called him in about 4.5 years ago, and we've been together ever since on a rocket ship relationship experience, creating a baby, buying a home, all within the first year of knowing each other. And we're still going strong. And he has healed the deepest, darkest parts of me, and I have done the same for him. And we have been walking side by side in this divine union. And friends, I felt this up level of energy as soon as Venus went retrograde. I felt Jesus and Mary Magdalene, which I am a yogi. I love Ganesh and all of the lovely gods from India. So, you know, I felt this container of control around Christianity. So I've always loved Jesus and his teachings, but I've always been kind of, you know, staying away from that. So to feel these two come in at the Venus retrograde on Mary Magdalene's feast day, I was offered up the knowing that Mary Magdalene represents Venus's knowledge, and all the lives that I've been living up until this point is to either save it when it was in a time that that knowledge could not be given out. I was in a group of women who protected this information with our lives. I have had many beautiful past life dreams about that and connections. And now I'm in a life where I can share this wisdom, where we can work to find the balance and enter into the path that Mary Magdalene and Jesus made for us, this divine, graceful union that is not as rigid as what the church has foretold. Okay, so huge things, right, friends? This is big stuff. But my partner and I, along with Vailana and Aubrey, are at this point now where we're ready to offer the knowledge that we have been working diligently to learn, how to heal these deep core wounds of love, of abandonment, of connection, and offer the world our knowledge. My partner is a therapist, as I said, who specializes in he's been trained in ketamine and MDMA. So as soon as that is legalized, we are really excited to offer a high qualified therapist and then a healer who can work the energetics and understands the reverence and respect that is needed when working in these realms. So with that being said, friends, I am inviting you to read or to listen to the podcast in the description box if you're ready to step into healing at a big, deep heart level. This is Leo. This is our creative spark. This is the way we love, the way we play, our authenticity. So this is huge, huge stuff. As you know, if you've been following me, we are in a love revolution with this retrograding Venus who keeps making aspects to Uranus by square. So tension to evolve, to awaken. All right, well, let's dive into the aspects because, you know, I've already been speaking for 9 minutes. All right, so Friday I did miss you. I was not feeling well. I had an intense healing session with a client that gave me an ocular migraine, which I'm pretty sure migraines are something far more interesting than what the science has told us. Definitely have that knowledge. But after this healing, I could not give you my video, but it was a beautiful day aspect-wise on Friday. We had a lot of balance of yin and yang going on, and then our moon moved into Cancer. So that is where she is now and where she will be for the Venus star point, which is a beautiful place for our moon to be. Cancer is the most yin-y energy there is. So it is as if we have been enveloped into the womb of the cosmos as we allow this new rebirth of Venus and this death of Venus. So here in the womb of the cosmos, we are tuning into our emotions. The moon is very happy in Cancer. She's ruled by Cancer, so she can very much express her emotional nature. It is a feminine sign, it is water ruled, and it is cardinal. So this is an initiator force that we're working with, right? How beautiful that this Venus death and rebirth is happening with this initiating, lean into it, you got it, trust it, move through your intuitional awareness to guide you kind of energy. So that sets the scene, friends, and I'm going to start with Saturday, August 12th's first aspect. We are still working with an ongoing aspect between Pluto squaring the North Node and South Node. This is an evolutionary transformational up level that we've been working on for quite a while that holds strong until September 3rd. That's percolating along all of this new rebirth energy that we're experiencing on Sunday. So at 2:37 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, the moon in Cancer came to 4 degrees and trined Saturn in Pisces. He's going retrograde and he's at 4 degrees. And Saturn represents the wise schoolmaster who maybe will give us some hard tests to make sure we're really learning the lessons. It's very much about maturity and responsibility. So when our moon trines this lovely character of Saturn, we have the ability to have some emotional maturity, which is great since we're working with ending a very big cycle right now. But this is the patience to work through relationship and health issues as well. We are working with the moon with this particular aspect, which she also represents our emotional nature, but our health, our body, and our most closest intimate partnerships, so those that we do life with every day. So this is an opportunity to look at where there has been challenge in the past, but really how we've up-leveled, right? How our emotional state is so much more mature than it was maybe a year ago, how we're able to take on experiences in a more wise light these days. This is also a beautiful aspect if you're not feeling like you've been able to step into those places to actually find help. Wise women are beautiful people with this particular aspect to reach out to. So if you've been identifying maybe a woman healer in that thought has been in the back of your mind, maybe you need to bring it to your forefront this morning and reach out. This is a supportive aspect, and it is also supportive in the realms of our dreams because Saturn is in the psychic waters of Pisces and it's going retrograde, so this is inward energy. Dreams are huge for allowing guidance. So tune in. Did you have any dreams on Friday the 11th that may have sparked this inner revolution around love that is taking place? Another beautiful person to reach out to is grandparents. Saturn is that wise grandpa, grandma energy, so they could support you also. And going a step further, your ancestors. This is our ancestors. I've heard that recently. A beautiful singer named Parangi, he said ancestors when he was speaking to a song that he had written, and I just loved that, right? As if they are the stars, because they are watching down upon us. So there's this sentimental energy with this trine. And that's where we're going to leave that trine. But what is neat, friends, is today on Saturday, we only have 3 aspects that are exact, and all 3 are trines. And if you listen to that podcast that is in the description, they speak to having a triple gold partner. And I just thought it was so ironic that it is basically a triple gold trine day. So go check out that podcast. I think it's very potent for this particular weekend. Okay, at 12:12 p.m., our sun at 19 degrees of Leo, he's almost to Venus at 20, trines Chiron, the asteroid of our wounded, deepest, shadowy parts that we're working to heal to become teachers of these dark places, right? When we really can alchemize something to teach it, that's when we know it the best. But this particular aspect is positive because it is by a trine, which, friends, a trine is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is a benevolent planet. He's the biggest planet, right? So he bestows a lot of blessings and bliss with his energy. Also wisdom. He's also that guru energy. So we keep coming to this level up with the trine, right? As far as really finding that guru within ourselves. That's what this whole Venus retrograde is really asking us, especially if you remember the nodes moving into the axis of working on our independence and our sovereignty and our relationships. Okay, I digressed a bit there, but coming back to the actual trine connecting our sun and Chiron. So this is a beautiful aspect to have us reflect on how far we've come, how our judgments, how our self-love practices have gotten better, how we can see past wounds now as these beautiful lessons that have only made us better. You know, it's hard to see that when you're in the midst of it, but this is the opportunity to look back on these 8 years and really see how far our wounds have propelled us into this higher, better version of ourselves. It is a beautiful day to feel that wholeness, right? Those integrated parts that you've worked with over the last 8 years that feel more whole. But it's also an opportunity for us to peacefully look at what still needs to be integrated, which there has been things bubbling up in this death process of Venus being burned up by the rays of the sun so close to it, that we know what we still need to work on, friends. It's always evolving process. But this is a beautiful time to pull in those exiled parts and to make a plan of how we're going to bring them in and love ourselves and make ourselves even better. All right, our next aspect, the last one happening on Saturday that is exact, is at 10:05 p.m. and Mountain Daylight Time. Our moon at 14 degrees of Cancer trines Jupiter. And I just spoke to Jupiter and what he represents because he is in charge of a trine. He flows his energy through a trine. And what exactly, I'm going to back it up a little bit because I didn't divulge enough about what a trine is. A trine is when two planets or luminaries, the sun and the moon are not considered planets, they are luminaries, but when one of those two are 120 degrees apart, that means that they have the ability to see each other through that particular geometry, and it is called a trine, and it is a flowing positive aspect, that 120 degree aspect distance. And it means that those two planets can talk, they can have a conversation, and through the trine it is benevolent. And so when our moon is trining Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter is in the earthy, sensual, 5 senses, feel your body, respect this temple as a beautiful blessing from the cosmos kind of vibe. We have some beauty, friends. This is expansive emotion, you know, the moon, but also expansive connection to our body and pleasure and bliss. We could get really deep into gratitude this evening, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous aspect to end the evening with before the Cazimi comes into play. Feeling good. It's all about the good vibes this evening. So opening up to your loved ones, getting into your own body. If you don't have anyone in your life that could, help out with, help yourself out, friends. I'm going to give you a woman's name. She unfortunately passed, but Betty Dotson is an incredible woman when it comes to working women to walk through self-pleasure doors where there was once fear. So, this is a great aspect, though, to really have some divine union with your body and with your emotional state. And that's where the end of Saturday leaves us. And now we get to move into Sunday, August 13th, where our star point happens. And what exactly is a star point in your own chart, friends? Well, before we dive into the one that's being created tomorrow, you have 5 potent points in your chart. When you were born, Venus was making these movements and made a perfect pentagram in your chart from when you were born to 8 years later. So these 5 points represent how you think about love, how you receive love, and how you ground into love. If you think of Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man drawing where he is in a pentagram, that is the energy I am speaking to. In your natal chart, you can graph that man. You can see how you think about love, how you receive love, and how you ground into love. It is a potent layer of knowledge in your chart. And if it's something you want to know more about yourself, friends, reach out to me. I'm speaking to these points right now because a lot of us have star points that end at the end of Capricorn and Leo. So that means that 2 of our star points are being highly activated with the retrograde of Pluto at the end of Capricorn, and now Venus retrograde, which she started at 28 degrees of Leo. So a lot of us are having huge transformation when it comes to the way that we see, think, give, and receive love. Okay, now let's dive into Sunday, August 13th, 2023, friends. The Cazimi with the sun. I gotta switch my notes here. All right, so this is a fresh start, a new beginning after an 8-year cycle is coming to a completion. And what's so very interesting about this particular Venus star point in Leo is that 3 days after, on the 16th, we get to have a new moon in Leo. So this new beginning is being amplified with the new moon cycle as well. It's also beautiful that we are going into the darkness of the moon, right? This womb energy that Cancer and our moon have also been just really washing over us. So the potentials when we get into the yin energy are endless. This is where we work into the void space where all things, all potentials are possible. And then we move it into the yang space where we put those potentials into action and we manifest them and we create them into reality, into physicality. So beautiful beginning to this start of this Venus star point cycle with the Leo new moon happening 3 days later. So beautiful. All right, but let's get into the aspects of this sacred day. At 3:26 a.m., our moon at 17 degrees of Cancer makes a sextile to Mercury in Virgo. Mercury is home in Virgo. He can do the most beautiful work when he's in his home sign, and he's right next to Pallas Athena. If you've been watching my videos, you know that these two are the warriors of the cosmos. But what's so beautiful about this particular situation, friends, is that Pallas Athena is the female warrior and Mars is the male warrior, and they are leading the charge together, hand in hand, with this new plan, this new chapter that we're embarking. Oh, it is so very potent and so very beautiful because where Mercury and Pallas are is in Virgo. So it is anchoring us into wellness, into this beautiful new plan towards leveling up in our everyday routines, how we harness in this up-level sense of sovereignty and self-love. All right, so here we go. Our moon sextiling Mercury in Virgo really lets us tune into some emotional clarity. Mercury is that communicative character. So how we think, how we talk, how we express ourselves. And so with the moon and this beautiful sextile, which is by the nature of Venus, a sextile is harmonizing and balancing, we have emotional clarity to tune into this beginning of a cycle. It's a beautiful aspect to get us in the mood to talk, to get into connected conversations with those that we hold close to our hearts, but it's a sensitive and caring energy. And what is nice about this particular aspect is that Mercury is making a semi-sextile to the Cazimi. This is, he's at 17 degrees, so he's quite in range with the Cazimi that's going to happen at 20 degrees. These two houses are right next to each other, so that's when a semi-sextile, a 30-degree aspect, comes into play. And this is a little helpful adjustment from the Venus retrograde Cazimi with the Sun to Mercury. There's this subtle helping energy that's happening. Here's the plan, you can do it. The new beginning, it might be scary, but we got a plan. And it really encompasses equality with Pallas and Mars right there with Mercury leading this wellness plan. So let's check in. We're checking in with that plan. And remember our dreams that Friday evening, they were potent, but they're also potent here on Sunday evening. This is a beautiful up-level dream energy, and it is happening in the early morning hours around the witching hour. So a beautiful time, friends, to work with intentions for this next new cycle. It is an upgrade in all Venusian things, that is relationships, money, how we earn money, so our finances, how we spend money, what we spend money on, all the things we value. That's also creativity as well, and the things that we find beautiful. I don't know if you noticed, but this girl got her septum pierced yesterday, which is something that I've always wanted to do for probably a decade now. But this Venus retrograde cycle really empowered me to do it. So it is an empowering time to up level in creativity. All right, so moving into the next aspect at 5:15 a.m. This is it, friends. This is when the Sun at 20 degrees comes into union with Venus retrograde at 20 degrees. I also want to point it out that Black Moon Lilith is at 24 degrees. So she's not in that tight engagement orb of 0 to 3, but she's right there. She has definitely been flavoring this intensely in the 3-degree range with Venus for a majority of this cycle of Venus in Leo. So what this really shows us, friends, is that we are working to up level into this sovereign, independent self, especially with the feminine nature. Barbie, the movie, you have to see it because it really is, nothing is a coincidence. It's all synchronistically perfect and divine ordered. And the whole movie is about toxic patriarchy and how we're moving into the awareness that the feminine has been repressed, and Black Moon Lilith is that representation of repressed feminine power. And so here we go with this Venus retrograde holding hands with Black Moon Lilith, asking us to up level out of suppression and martyrdom, victimhood, and into sovereignty, into looking at the shadow aspects of ourselves to heal them so that we can up level into that wholeness, all the exiled parts into wholeness. Oh, so here we go, friends. This is such a potent time to be alive. I hope you are working into the beauty and the gratitude of being alive at this particular cycle. Okay, so a new 8-year cycle is starting. This is an inferior conjunction, meaning that Venus is closest to the Earth. She's between the Sun, and that means that Venus is the strongest that she can be, hence empowering me to get my nose ring. So we're really feeling the intensity of Venus now as she is dying and about to be reborn now at 5:15 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. The rebirth takes place. Hello, end of a cycle that started in August of 2015, peaked in August of 2019, and now is ending. And a whole new one is beginning around creativity, around what sparks your heart, around courageous activities, around being authentic and speaking, delivering experiences to yourself that are true to your heart's desire. This is about play and primal attraction energy. But what I love, friends, is speaking the subtle body energy. This is the energy of the heart, the Anahata chakra, which when you translate Anahata into English, it translates to unstuck. So this is an opportunity for us to get unstuck, friends, through this deep connection to the heart, through nurturing, through love, through compassion, through service to others. We are being reborn today in all of these themes. And if you know in your own chart system where the pie slice is, you really know how this is being reborn in your life. And for me, as a 12th house Leo, I am stepping into the knowing that I am a Mary Magdalene sister, which is huge. So how huge is it for you in your own life, friends? I would love to hear it if you want to share in the comments. I'm not so great at replying because I have 3 kids and 5 jobs and a partner and life is crazy, but I still do read them all and love them. Okay. Well, let's get a little bit further into this. We are going to look at the next aspect because all of this speaks to this cycle that we're creating here. At 8:06 a.m. on Sunday the 13th, the moon moves to 19 degrees of Cancer and makes an exact square to Chiron at 19 degrees of Aries. Okay, friends, this is really exciting because our North Node is in Aries. We are really, and have, only been working on this new North Node placement for a few weeks now, been working on our independence, on how we can show up for ourselves. And where the South Node has now moved into is Libra, which is our relationships. So this axis of independence and relationships is really being worked on as far as stepping into our next highest purpose and version of ourselves. So Chiron in Aries has not happened the last time this Venus star point was happening here. So we've not had the ability to really heal. And so that's why this one is so potent, friends, and why I think we're really able to step into this divine union vibration, because Chiron is helping us to get to the depths of our soul, to the deepest wounds, and actually shine light, shine this Venus star point light of love and compassion onto it, and to break out of old patterns, to shake them off, friends. The beautiful thing about this Chiron is it's making a trine aspect to the Cazimi Venus. So it's really giving us the opportunity to own our own crap, to shine the light on it and really see it as our own and not the people around us. The beautiful thing about this life is that we are all one, and our relationships are mirrors of us. And so whatever we see in someone else that we do not like is our own crap. And so this particular aspect allows us to see it and own it and identify it and really see how we've been ciphering our power away by blaming other people. So it's time to own it, friends. It's time to grow. It's time to show up in your own truest essence and wholeness with this particular aspect. And thank you, universe, for allowing it to be here in this Venus star point at this potent beginning, because it is really letting us wipe the slate clean and step into a new level of healing, of being, of living. All right, the next aspect at 10:56 a.m. is between the moon at 21 degrees as she sextiles Mars at 21 degrees of Virgo. We were already here at the beginning of the day checking into Mercury in Virgo. They're really not too far away. We have Mars at 21, Mercury at 17, and Pallas, our female awesomeness, at 15 degrees. So we're kind of making a backtrack back to Virgo, back to our plan, our wellness plan that the two warriors are putting into play equally together. So this emotional plan, this wellness plan, being grounded in through these earthy vibes of Virgo that can bring things into reality. That's what earth really means. We're being asked now, like, what are feelings? We feel these potentials for this action that we need to be putting into place, right? And that's what this is about. Mars is action. And so we're getting the motivation here, right? We're getting this motivational, uplifting download from Mars at this particular point. And he is making that semi-sextile to the Venus Cazimi. So there's this subtle help, this subtle adjustment energy as well from Mars and Mercury, like he was doing earlier in the morning. So just a beautiful conversation happening, a subtle one with that semi-sextile, but there's support going down. Okay, the next aspect, friends, is at 2:30 p.m. The moon at 22 degrees sextiles Uranus. Woo! Venus squared Uranus just a few days ago, so we had some tension around all of this to maybe awaken something within us, some dormant Leo feelings that need to come up, but it's a shake-up energy, and now we have a more positive flow with the sextile in our emotional nature to check in on this evolutionary process. How is the up-leveling going? What are these awakenings that the square and Venus have been offering up, first in her pre-shadow, then in her retrograde? This deep awakening to possible tension that has gone down, with that square that's illuminated your heart's truest desires. So now is the time to find the courage with this particular aspect, to be uniquely you, to, use the jolt of the electricity of Uranus to, like a defibrillator, jumpstart your heart into a new direction. The possibilities are endless in all of this yin, woomy energy, friends. So let that spark of electricity take you to your wildest dreams. This is new and different energy, something you've never felt before. Change is happening, friends, and it is leading you to your most authentic, truest version of yourself. After we've integrated all of this Black Moon Lilith repression, we're now able to really awaken, friends. Leo is asking us to awaken, to leave the cocoon, the murky darkness that the caterpillar entered into, and to open up and to spread our wings and to start this new cycle. And the next aspect at 10:58 p.m. really is icing on the cake. This is the moon coming to 27 degrees of Cancer and trining Neptune retrograde in Pisces, coming back to the spiritual waters, and Neptune being the spiritual antenna of the cosmos. This is where we're really able to get into envisioning this next highest version of ourselves, this truest, most authentic, connected version of ourselves. This is manifestation energy, friends. So get tuned in psychically, sit on Mother Earth. If you got a drum, I highly recommend it. But chanting, using your throat. We are working out of a time where the feminine has been really repressed in the throat chakra. So purify, Vijuda, this chakra by using it, by chanting, by opening up your vocal cords that give life and voice to the spirit that lies within. The last aspect of this sacred day is at 11:18 p.m. when the moon just moves a few more minutes in that 27th degree to square the nodes of fate. Here we go, friends, the nodes of fate. I spoke to them when I spoke about Chiron because that's where they are. The North Node, which is where we're headed in this cycle of 18 months, is into independence, into sovereignty, into self-love, into speaking our truth and not putting ourselves second, but putting ourselves first, putting the oxygen mask on ourselves so that we can truly serve others in helping save their lives, because ours is saved, right? It's a really important thing to love ourselves first. And this square to the nodes allows us, gives us the Martian willpower, the chutzpah, the passion to move into this new direction, into this butterfly version of ourselves. So it's a beautiful aspect to end the night with. It does create a little tension if you are seeing this new version of yourself, but you don't quite know how to get there. That's okay. That's part of this energy as well. But that tension is what helps us grow and move and evolve. So tune into your intuition, friends, and know that 3 days later, this new moon is coming. So these potent intention seeds of how you want to move into loving, making money, creating things, and finding beauty in your life is so potent. All right, definitely go listen to Aubrey Marcus and Vailana's podcast on Layla Martin's show. It's really powerful and potent for this particular time, and hopefully encourages you to step into your divine union. That's where we're headed, friends. Time to do it. I love you. Mwah. Have a great Venus star point.